You think pulling out of the dealership in a brand new six-figure luxury car makes you look rich? Think again. For thousands of people every single month, that new car smell fades in less than 30 days, replaced by the suffocating weight of a massive monthly payment, soaring insurance premiums, and the terrifying realization of how fast luxury depreciates. You didn't buy a status symbol, you bought a financial anchor. And the worst part? It's slowly sinking your entire future. Let's talk about why buying that expensive car is the single biggest wealth killer on the market today, and how it's trapping people in a loop of regret they can't escape. Introduction: the psychology of the automotive illusion. We have all been there. You scroll through social media, and your feed is flooded with gleaming paint, panoramic sunroofs, and charismatic creators stepping out of exotic European sports cars or fully loaded luxury SUVs. The caption reads something like, "Leveling up," or "Hard work pays off." Society has quietly and effectively conditioned us to view a high-end vehicle as the ultimate milestone of success. It is the tangible proof that you have made it. When you finally walk onto that dealership lot, the sensory experience is meticulously engineered to bypass your logic centers. The showroom is immaculate, the lighting highlights every curve of the metal, and the salesperson treats you like royalty. You test drive the vehicle, sinking into buttery leather seats while a high-end sound system envelops you in crisp audio. In that moment, your brain releases a potent cocktail of dopamine. You convince yourself that you deserve this. You tell yourself that you work hard, that life is short, and that you need to reward your hustle. So, you sign the dotted line. You drive off the lot with the windows down, your favorite song playing, feeling invincible for about 2 weeks. Then, reality sets in. The temporary high of the purchase evaporates, and you are left face to face with an unforgiving ledger of financial obligations. Suddenly, that gorgeous piece of machinery sitting in your driveway stops looking like a reward and starts looking like a cage. Phase 1. The anatomy of buyer's remorse. The descent from automotive euphoria to bitter regret rarely happens all at once. It is a slow, compounding erosion of peace of mind. To understand why so many people deeply regret purchasing an expensive car, we have to look past the monthly payment and examine the true anatomy of the regret cycle. 1. The realization of hyper-depreciation. The moment the tires of your new luxury vehicle roll off the dealership pavement, it sheds an astronomical percentage of its value, often between 10% and 20% instantly. Drive it off the lot for 6 months, and you might easily look at a 25% or 30% drop in market value. For someone who bought an $80,000 car, that means you have literally burned away $20,000 of purchasing power in less time than it takes to change the oil. When owners log into their loan portal a few months later and realize they are severely upside down, meaning they owe the bank significantly more than the car is actually worth on the open market, panic sets in. You are trapped. You cannot sell the car without writing a check to the bank for thousands of dollars to cover the difference, and you cannot keep comfortably paying for it without sacrificing other vital areas of your life. 2. The invisible financial bleed. Most buyers make the fatal mistake of budgeting only for the monthly loan payment. They look at a $900 a month payment, check their bank account, decide they can make it work, and pull the trigger. They completely ignore the total cost of ownership. Luxury and exotic cars come with a hidden financial tax, exorbitant insurance rates. Insurance companies view high-performance and luxury vehicles as high-risk assets. Premiums can easily skyrocket to hundreds of dollars a month, especially for younger drivers or those living in urban areas. Premium maintenance costs. You cannot take a high-end German or British luxury vehicle to a standard discount oil change shop. They require specialized synthetic oils, proprietary diagnostic tools, and premium parts. A routine service that costs $60 for a standard sedan can easily run $400 to $800 for a luxury brand. Consumables. High-performance tires wear out faster due to softer rubber compounds designed for grip. Replacing a set of 4 specialized low-profile tires every 20,000 miles can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. Brake jobs involving performance rotors and pads can rival the cost of a used economy car. When you add up the loan payment, insurance, premium fuel, and specialized maintenance, that $900 car often transforms into a $1,500 to $1,800 monthly black hole. Phase 2. The lifestyle trap and opportunity cost. Beyond the direct financial drain, buying an expensive car triggers a psychological phenomenon known as lifestyle creep, wrapped in the heavy chains of opportunity cost, the golden handcuffs of cash flow. When a massive chunk of your monthly net income is automatically funneled into a depreciating asset, your overall financial flexibility shrinks to near zero. People who buy these cars often find themselves living the paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't make good money, but because their fixed overhead is completely unsustainable. Imagine earning a strong income, but feeling constant underlying anxiety about your job security. Why? Because if you lose your job, you cannot sustain a $1,200 car payment for more than a month or two before your savings are depleted. The car stops being a symbol of freedom and becomes the ultimate pair of golden handcuffs. You stay in a job you hate, tolerating a toxic boss or a grueling commute, simply because your lifestyle demands that paycheck to service your automotive debt. The true cost of capital. What else could that money be doing? Let's look at the math through the lens of long-term wealth building. Suppose you finance a $75,000 car over 6 years. With interest, taxes, higher insurance, and maintenance, that car might cost you a total cash outflow of nearly $95,000 by the time it is paid off. Now, look at what happens if you take that exact same monthly capital, say $1,200 all in, and instead invest it consistently into a diversified portfolio of index funds or real estate, yielding an average historical return of 8% to 10% over a 10 to 20-year horizon. That single car purchase doesn't just cost you the sticker price, it costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth. You are trading your future financial independence, early retirement, and peace of mind for 5 minutes of looking cool at a red light. Phase 3. The illusion of status. Perhaps the most profound source of regret comes from the emotional letdown regarding how people actually perceive you. When you are deep in the trenches of wanting status, you assume that driving an expensive car will command respect, admiration, and validation from your peers, colleagues, and strangers. You imagine people looking at you and thinking you have arrived. Here is the psychological plot twist. Almost nobody cares. The vast majority of people are too wrapped up in their own financial stress, career pressures, and personal lives to give more than a fleeting glance to the badge on the hood of your car. The people who do notice are generally divided into 2 categories. 1, this is different. People who understand finance and realize that most luxury cars are bought with crushing debt rather than actual wealth. To them, an expensive car doesn't signal success. It often signals poor financial literacy. 2, the envious. People who measure human worth by superficial markers, trapping you in a toxic cycle of trying to impress individuals you don't even like. Furthermore, hedonic adaptation kicks in rapidly. Hedonic adaptation is the human psychological tendency to quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness, despite major positive or negative events or life changes. That new car smell, it wears off. The thrill of acceleration, it becomes your new normal within weeks. Soon, you are looking at newer models, wondering how you can upgrade again, trapped on a running treadmill of consumption, where no purchase ever satisfies you for long. Phase 4. Breaking free and redefining success. The realization of regret is painful, but it is also a powerful awakening. Thousands of people who fell into the luxury car trap have eventually executed an escape plan, trading down to reliable, paid-for vehicles, and redirecting their cash flow toward assets that actually appreciate. If you are currently feeling the pinch of an expensive vehicle, or if you are standing on the precipice of making a massive financial mistake, it is time to shift your paradigm of wealth. How to bulletproof your mindset. Separate income from net worth. True wealth is what you keep, not what you spend. High earners who spend every dime on status symbols are just as broke as people earning minimum wage. They are just living at a higher, more stressful altitude. Calculate the true hourly cost. Take your total monthly cost of owning that vehicle, payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, and divide it by your hourly wage. Calculate how many hours of your life you have to spend working just to keep that car fueled and parked in your driveway. Is it really worth 40 or 50 hours of your labor every single month? Shift to asset-first thinking. True freedom is waking up knowing that your investments can sustain your lifestyle, not waking up worrying about whether you can make next month's liability payment. Conclusion: choose freedom over flash. The highway of life is littered with the financial wreckage of people who chose temporary flash over permanent freedom. Buying an expensive car to impress people you don't know, using money you don't have, to buy time you have to work away, is the ultimate modern trap. The next time you feel the urge to sign away your financial future for a shiny badge and a roaring engine, remember the deep regret of those who walked the path before you. Real wealth doesn't roar down the highway demanding attention. It sits quietly in a balanced portfolio, growing silently while you sleep. Choose your future over your facade. Choose freedom.